Now, it's an image you'll love to see. Xi Jinping of China shaking hands with Vladimir Putin of Russia. It's a new era of cooperation. Something Xi Jinping says has not been done in over 100 years. And I guess for us here in the United States, World War III? Now, I got this tweet from Mario Nawful talking about the breaking news from the other day that Putin and Xi Jinping signed documents on Russia-China strategic cooperation. Putin made the following comments. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I know you're all sitting there being like, I don't care about the nitpicky conversations. I want action. I want to know about the explosions, war. Well, you got it, baby. Here we go. NATO's warning to Putin. U.S. B-52 bombers flanked by NATO allies in the skies over Europe in a show of strength as China shows growing support for Russia amid Ukraine invasion. Take a look at that video. That's what you wanted, right, baby? Action. Bombers, jets, fighters escorting through the air because it was previously reported that a U.S. bomber over the Baltic Sea was flanked by Russian fighters and basically removed. We're getting that growing tension, baby. And it's going to be the U.S. and Europe versus Russia and China, World War III. Maybe, maybe not. But here's a tweet from Mario Nawful. China is clearly Russia's top trade and economic partner. Trade and economic cooperation is a priority for our relationship. Russia is prepared to increase its oil and LNG, liquid natural gas supply to China. Russia is helping to build atomic stations in China. The Ukraine-Russia peace plan was also discussed. Putin, quote, Russia and China strongly oppose violating interests of other countries to gain our own advantage. Should the U.S. be afraid of the strengthening relations between Russia and China? Yeah, we got Jesse Henderson responding saying, we should be afraid of our own leadership. I agree. I think the problem we are facing right now, as we are looking at the unprecedented threat of an exploding Chinese economy and military power, is that we are being led by psychopaths. But, my friends, maybe it's all part of the plan. See, TikTok, melting people's brains, promoting people like Dylan Mulvaney, getting them on TV shows because Americans are culturally weak and they know it. There's a video. Shows a bunch of Chinese kids in camo uniforms crying, being shown patriotic films. There's a video of Chinese school children putting together firearms. And in America, we are arguing over whether or not children should have their genitals surgically removed. Yeah, we are not a serious people. I think we've already been defeated. And I think our cultural weakness is being exploited. Europe's suffering the same fate, as is the United States. Donald Trump, in my opinion, may be the only man who can probably save us from this. But he is being actively opposed by a corrupt cult zombie faction. Let me put it this way. You know, if you could unleash a horde of zombies, like flesh-eating zombies, maybe I like the cordyceps version from The Last of Us. Maybe it's the 28 days later one where you get like a single drop of blood in your eye and you're like, and you turn into a zombie instantly, which is kind of absurd, to be honest, because like the virus ain't going to be traveling that fast. But if you could unleash a horde of those zombies on an enemy country, you'd win, right? I just watched World War Z the other day because, you know, basically I turn on Netflix, not my Netflix, someone else's. And actually, it's true. Like I don't have Netflix. And but you turn the TV on. I think it's I'm not going to say whose it is anyway. And that's like #1 movie of the week, World War Z. And then you have like the scene where Israel's got all these borders, the wall built around the country because they feared the zombies were coming. And then the zombies come, climb over the wall, and then, you know, everybody dies. That is a powerful way to destroy a nation. Unleash a horde of zombies. Now, in the real world, there's no such thing as zombism. I mean, there's bioweapons, but bioweapons can run amok and then hit everybody. So what do? China, I think, hit the nail on the head. Unleash TikTok on the United States and social media, and then watch as our country consumes itself. As there are people who seek to maintain a strong and great America, i.e. Donald Trump, Trump supporters, obviously. And then you have zombie cult members who will burn the whole country to the ground because, well, they're zombies. Zombies don't need a reason. They're just zombies. How are we supposed to fight a war with China and Russia when we are on the verge of a civil war? Thus, this may be the fall of the American Republic, but it may not be the end. It may be the emergence of the global NATO or Davos empire. And that's where I think things get scary, because you will own nothing and you will be happy. I mean, most of you won't be happy, but they'll tell you you're happy. And if you express discontent, then they'll just throw you in the gulag. So, yeah, hope you're ready for that. The Daily Mail, Xi Jinping delivers a chilling message for the West as he tells dear friend Vladimir Putin, change is coming that hasn't happened in 100 years, and we are driving it. On day, Russian despot said UK risked nuclear collision with its aid to Ukraine. I got to be honest with you guys. The more I see from China, the less I'm actually opposed to. Well, I want to make sure I say this correctly. The more impressed I am is probably the better way to put it. And what I mean is, yes, China is evil in many ways. I'm sorry. The Chinese Communist Party is very, very evil. The things they did, the Cultural Revolution, all the things, all their history is horrifying. But I take a look at what we are dealing with here in the United States. And what I mean to say is we need a little bit of what they got. And I don't care if you disagree or whatever. I'm not a big statist. I'm a little statist. Like, I think there should be a state, but not a very big one. But I do think we need a common defense. We need a cohesive common culture and moral traditions. And that is what I'm talking about. China has that. They instill that. They don't let their kids watch Dylan Mulvaney on TikTok. They block that stuff, and they make their kids watch science lessons and education. So they will have a robust, strong, and intelligent future generation running the ship. And we will have dejected, degenerate morons here in the United States. You know what's funny about the movie Idiocracy? If you've seen it, shout out Mike Judge. In Idiocracy, they only talk about the United States. For the most part, I think. Camacho, a wrestler, is the president. They're spraying sports drinks onto their crops because Brawndo, it's what plants crave. It's got electrolytes, which is salting the earth and stopping the plants from growing, so they're all starving. They don't talk to you about, in that movie, about, China, for instance. Maybe what they should do with Idiocracy, too, is show the United States in decay and then show other countries. I don't know. I think in Idiocracy, it might be a global government or something. I can't remember. But I'm convinced at this point that if we jumped 100 years in the future, you would see China with flying cars and spaceships. And in the United States, you'd see, I was going to be vulgar, but I'll keep from being vulgar. Degeneracy. I'll just say degeneracy. I'll keep it academic. Degeneracy. People will be wallowing in pools of disgusting pleasure and then suffering because of it. The epitome of short-term gains and long-term losses. Meanwhile, China is focused on the inverse. Short-term sacrifice, long-term gain. As is Russia. Russia's not playing these games either. The U.S. is. And the noble left is saying, we should respect the degeneracy. Well, okay. That will be our downfall. And it is, to an extent, liberalism. Liberalism, live and let live, is not all bad. The problem is it only works if you actually still have and maintain a culture of meritocracy and personal responsibility. But you see, what happened is, slowly, one by one, people seep in who don't want to be responsible but demand. And the liberals keep giving and giving and giving until liberalism becomes corrupted and destructive. So we will sit back and watch China gear up for what is only described, I suppose, by most as World War III. And you think we're ready to fight that? We got jets flying over the Baltic being pushed out by Russia. You've got a media claiming Russia's losing. I don't buy for a second Russia's losing. You may tell me Russia is losing a border dispute we're thousands of miles away. I'm not saying they're winning. But this idea that it's as bad as they say he's diseased, he's dying, there's a revolt. I don't buy it. It's propaganda, baby. I don't believe it. Putin just signs this deal with Xi Jinping. They're neighboring nations. Russia's massive. Russia could say to China, you got a lot of people, we got a lot of land. Can we get some of your people up here to develop these regions of Russia, making us and you stronger? Let's do it. We will crush the United States. That's what I see coming. I hope you all are ready for it. Because, man, putting in Joe Biden was a big mistake. But I gotta be honest. I think you all know that we are dealing with a zombified faction, a hypoxic lobe of our brain. The left hemisphere of the United States is withered and dying and taking all of us with it. How do we survive this? I don't know, but I'll leave it there. It's the latest development. If there was more on the war front, I'd have more to say. But for the time being, I think you need only look at this photograph of Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin shaking hands to know dark times indeed. Trump 2024, I guess. Next segment's coming up at 6 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.